Take back the power you gave away. Stoicism. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman emperor from 161 to 180 AD and one of history's most respected Stoic philosophers. Despite ruling one of the largest empires in the world, he constantly reminded himself that true power comes from mastering the mind rather than controlling circumstances. There is a moment that changes everything. It happens quietly. No thunder. No warning. No dramatic event. Just a sudden realization. You discover that much of your suffering is not coming from life itself. It is coming from the power you unknowingly handed away. Power to people who do not think about you. Power to opinions that should not matter. Power to memories that cannot be changed. Power to fears that have never happened. And every day that power remains outside of you, your peace remains outside of you too. Today, we are going to reclaim it. Before we begin, subscribe to Wisdom Without Noise for more timeless lessons on Stoicism, self-mastery, and inner strength. Sit with these ideas carefully. Some may challenge you. Others may awaken something you have always known but forgotten. 1. Stop letting other people's opinions control your mood. One of the greatest ways people surrender their power is by allowing opinions to become commands. Someone criticizes them. Their entire day is ruined. Someone ignores them. They question their worth. Someone disagrees with them. They become defensive and anxious. But think about this. Why should another person's thoughts have authority over your emotional state? Their opinion belongs to them. Your peace belongs to you. Yet many people trade their peace for approval. A young man posted a project online after spending months working on it. Most responses were positive. But one comment mocked his work. Only one. Out of hundreds. That single comment occupied his mind for weeks. The praise disappeared. The criticism remained. He gave one stranger the power to determine how he felt about himself. How often do we do the same? Stoicism teaches that opinions are not facts. People judge through the lens of their experiences, insecurities, beliefs, and emotions. Their judgment reveals more about them than about you. The moment you stop needing universal approval, you begin living freely. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone will support you. Not everyone will like you. And that is perfectly fine. Your value does not rise when people praise you. Your value does not fall when people criticize you. Take back the power you gave to their opinions. 2. Stop reliving what cannot be changed. Many people live in prisons built from memories. The event happened years ago. The pain remains today. Not because the event continues, but because the mind continues replaying it. A woman lost an important opportunity early in her career. Years later she still wondered what her life would have been if things had gone differently. Every setback became connected to that moment. Every disappointment pointed back to that loss. The opportunity was gone. But she continued carrying it. The burden became heavier than the original event. The Stoics understood a simple truth. The past is untouchable. No amount of regret can rewrite it. No amount of guilt can erase it. No amount of wishing can transform it. Yet people sacrifice their present trying to negotiate with history. The past has already taken what it can take. Do not give it your future as well. Learn from it. Respect it. But stop living inside it. Your life is happening now. Not yesterday. Not 10 years ago. Now. Every moment spent fighting the past is a moment stolen from the present. Take your power back. 3. Stop handing your happiness to circumstances. Many people live with invisible conditions. They tell themselves, I will be happy when I earn more money. I will be happy when I find the right relationship. I will be happy when life becomes easier. The problem is that happiness keeps moving further away. One goal becomes another. One achievement becomes the next target. One desire creates another desire. A businessman spent decades chasing financial success. Eventually he achieved everything he had dreamed of. The house. The cars. The status. But when he finally arrived, he felt strangely empty. He had spent his entire life postponing happiness. He never learned how to experience it in the present. Stoicism does not reject ambition. It simply warns against dependency. You can pursue goals without attaching your happiness to them. You can work hard without making success your emotional master. You can desire improvement without hating where you are. External things are uncertain. They come and go. Inner stability remains. The more your happiness depends on conditions, the weaker your happiness becomes. Take back the power you gave to circumstances. 4. Stop giving your attention to every distraction. Attention is one of the most valuable resources you possess. Yet many people give it away freely. Every notification. Every controversy. Every rumor. Every argument. Every distraction. Their minds become crowded with things that have nothing to do with their purpose. A student sat down to study for an important exam. Within minutes he checked a message. Then a video. Then another notification. Hours passed. Very little work was done. At the end of the day he felt exhausted despite accomplishing almost nothing. His energy had been scattered. His attention had been stolen. Modern life constantly competes for your focus. Every distraction wants access to your mind. The Stoics would ask a simple question. Is this worthy of your attention? Not everything deserves a response. Not everything deserves your concern. Not everything deserves your mental energy. Focus is power. The ability to direct your attention deliberately is one of the greatest forms of freedom. When you control your attention, you control your life. Take back the power you gave to distractions. 5. Stop seeking validation from people who cannot give it. There is a painful trap many people never escape. They spend years trying to earn validation from those who are incapable of giving it. A distant parent. An indifferent partner. A critical boss. A judgmental friend. They believe that if they work harder, achieve more, or become different, approval will finally arrive. Often it never does. A young woman spent years trying to impress her father. Every accomplishment was motivated by one desire. She wanted him to say he was proud of her. She earned awards. Built a successful career. Exceeded expectations. Still the words never came. One day she realized something powerful. The approval she desperately wanted could not heal what she truly needed to heal. She was searching for worth in someone else's hands. Worth does not come from external confirmation. It comes from self-respect. The moment you stop begging for validation, you reclaim your dignity. You stop performing. You stop pretending. You stop chasing impossible standards. And you begin living authentically. Your value is not determined by who recognizes it. A diamond remains valuable even in darkness. Take back the power you gave to validation. Pause for a moment and reflect. How much of your energy is currently being controlled by things outside of you? How many emotions are being dictated by people, circumstances, memories, and expectations? The good news is this. What was given away can be reclaimed. And we are only beginning. Subscribe to Wisdom Without Noise and continue this journey toward inner freedom. The strongest person is not the one who controls the world. The strongest person is the one who controls themselves. 6. Stop giving power to fear of the future. The future has stolen more peace than almost anything else. Not because of what actually happened, but because of what people imagined might happen. Many spend their days rehearsing disasters that never arrive. They picture failure before they begin. They anticipate rejection before speaking. They expect loss before experiencing joy. As a result, they suffer twice. Once in imagination. And again if the event actually occurs. A man was offered an opportunity that could change his life. The position required him to move to a new city and take on greater responsibility. Instead of seeing possibility, he saw only risk. What if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I embarrass myself? For months he worried. For months he delayed. Finally, the opportunity passed to someone else. The failure he feared never happened. But the opportunity he feared losing did. Fear had quietly made the decision for him. The Stoics understood that the future belongs to uncertainty. No amount of worrying changes tomorrow. No amount of anxiety creates control. When you worry excessively, you are attempting to solve problems that do not yet exist. You are fighting shadows. You are exhausting yourself battling possibilities. Prepare for the future. Plan for the future. But do not live inside the future. The present is where your power exists. This moment is where your actions matter. This moment is where your life is happening. The future will arrive when it arrives. Meet it then. Take back the power you gave to fear. 7. Stop letting one mistake define your identity. People often confuse what they did with who they are. One mistake becomes a permanent label. One failure becomes a lifelong identity. One bad decision becomes evidence that they are incapable. A young entrepreneur launched a business. He invested everything he had. Time. Energy. Savings. Hope. The business failed. Almost immediately, he stopped saying, "The business failed." Instead, he started saying, "I am a failure." Notice the difference. The event became the identity. Years later, he was still carrying that label. Not because it was true, but because he believed it. The Stoics believed that human beings are capable of growth. You are not frozen in your worst moment. You are not trapped inside your past mistakes. You are not permanently defined by yesterday. Failure is an event, not an identity. Mistakes are lessons, not life sentences. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who refuse to remain on the ground. Every successful person carries scars. Every wise person carries regrets. Every strong person has failed repeatedly. What separates them is not perfection. It is resilience. Stop introducing yourself to life through your mistakes. You are more than your worst day. Take back the power you gave to failure. 8. Stop chasing people who are walking away. This lesson is difficult, because it touches the deepest parts of the human heart. Many people spend years chasing those who have already chosen distance. They chase attention, affection, respect, commitment, closure. They keep knocking on doors that remain closed. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they believe persistence will eventually create connection. A man spent years trying to save a friendship that had become one-sided. He always called first. He always made the effort. He always adjusted his schedule. The other person rarely reciprocated. Still he continued. He feared letting go. One day he stopped. Not out of anger. Not out of bitterness. But out of acceptance. For the first time in years, he felt lighter. He realized something important. Relationships require participation from both sides. You cannot carry them alone. Stoicism teaches acceptance of reality. Not the reality we wish existed. The reality that actually exists. Some people are meant to stay. Some people are meant to leave. Some chapters are meant to end. The pain often comes from resisting what is already true. Respect yourself enough to stop forcing connections. Respect yourself enough to stop begging for what should be given freely. When someone consistently chooses distance, believe their actions. Release them with dignity. Take back the power you gave to those who have already walked away. 9. Stop making comfort your master. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels pleasant. Comfort feels familiar. But comfort can quietly become a prison. Many dreams die in comfortable places. Many talents remain hidden because comfort convinced people to stay where they were. A young man dreamed of becoming a writer. He talked about it constantly. He imagined success. He read books about writing. He watched interviews with authors. But he never wrote consistently. Why? Because writing required discomfort. It required uncertainty. It required effort. It required vulnerability. Comfort offered immediate rewards. Growth demanded sacrifice. Years passed. The dream remained exactly where it started. Inside his imagination. The Stoics intentionally practiced discomfort. Not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood its value. Discomfort builds strength. Discomfort reveals character. Discomfort expands possibility. Every meaningful achievement requires walking through uncertainty. Every transformation requires temporary discomfort. Every breakthrough demands courage. The version of you that you admire most is waiting on the other side of resistance. Do not let comfort steal your future. Temporary comfort often creates long-term regret. Temporary discomfort often creates long-term freedom. Take back the power you gave to comfort. 10. Stop comparing your life to everyone else's. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to destroy gratitude. The modern world makes comparison almost unavoidable. Every day people see the highlights of other lives. Success, beauty, wealth, achievements, recognition. And without realizing it, they begin measuring themselves against carefully edited snapshots. A woman opened her phone one morning. Within minutes she saw someone buying a new home, someone getting married, someone traveling, someone celebrating a promotion. Suddenly her own life felt inadequate. Nothing had changed. Her circumstances were exactly the same. The only difference was comparison. Comparison creates artificial dissatisfaction. It teaches you to ignore your own progress. It teaches you to overlook your own blessings. It teaches you to focus on what is missing rather than what is present. The Stoics believed each person has their own path, their own challenges, their own timing, their own journey. The race is not against other people. The race is against the person you were yesterday. There will always be someone richer, someone smarter, someone stronger, someone more successful. If your happiness depends on being ahead of everyone else, happiness will always remain out of reach. Instead, focus on growth. Focus on character. Focus on purpose. Measure yourself against your potential, not against another person's circumstances. The flower does not compete with the tree. The river does not compete with the mountain. Each fulfills its nature. So should you. Take back the power you gave to comparison. Many people believe power is something found outside themselves. They think it exists in money, status, recognition, control, influence. Yet the Stoics saw something deeper. Real power begins when external things lose their ability to control your inner world. Real power begins when your peace no longer depends on conditions. Real power begins when your mind belongs to you again. And as you continue listening, you may discover that some of the power you thought was lost has been waiting for you all along. 11. Stop giving your energy to things you cannot control. One of the most painful habits people develop is fighting battles they can never win. They argue with reality. They resist facts. They demand certainty from an uncertain world. And in doing so, they drain themselves. A man spent years obsessing over economic changes, political decisions, and events happening across the world. Every morning he woke up anxious. Every night he went to sleep frustrated. The strange thing was that none of those things were within his influence. His worry changed nothing. His anger solved nothing. His anxiety produced nothing. Yet he sacrificed his peace daily. The Stoics built their philosophy around a simple distinction. Some things are within your control. Some things are not. Your thoughts, your choices, your effort, your character. These belong to you. The weather does not. Other people's opinions do not. The past does not. Many outcomes do not. The more energy you invest in uncontrollable things, the less energy remains for the things that truly matter. Imagine carrying two buckets. One contains things you can influence. The other contains things you cannot. Most people spend their lives filling the wrong bucket. Then they wonder why they feel powerless. Power grows when attention is directed toward action. Not toward helplessness. Not toward complaint. Not toward resistance to reality. Accept what you cannot change. Improve what you can. That simple distinction can transform your life. Take back the power you gave to the uncontrollable. 12. Stop seeking revenge. When someone hurts you, revenge often feels justified. The mind begins creating scenarios. Ways to prove a point. Ways to make them regret their actions. Ways to make them feel the same pain. At first, revenge appears powerful. In reality, it creates another form of bondage. A businessman was betrayed by a former partner. The betrayal cost him money and opportunities. For years he obsessed over revenge. Every conversation returned to the same person. Every plan revolved around proving something. Every success became connected to showing the other man what he had lost. The betrayal happened once. But through obsession, he relived it thousands of times. The other person occupied space in his mind every day. Who was truly imprisoned? The Stoics understood that revenge extends suffering. It keeps the wound open. It keeps attention locked on the source of pain. Forgiveness does not mean approving of what happened. It means refusing to let the event control the rest of your life. Sometimes the greatest victory is moving forward. Sometimes the strongest response is refusing to become consumed by bitterness. Sometimes peace is worth more than justice. The person who harmed you may have taken something. Do not allow them to take your future as well. Take back the power you gave to resentment. 13. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Many lives are delayed by a dangerous illusion. The illusion of perfect timing. People tell themselves they will start when conditions improve. When they have more confidence. When they have more money. When they have more knowledge. When life becomes easier. But perfection never arrives. A woman dreamed of starting her own business. For years she planned. For years she researched. For years she prepared. Every year she found a new reason to wait. A better economy. More experience. More certainty. Eventually she realized something. The perfect moment had never existed. The only thing that existed was the present opportunity to begin. Most successful people did not start when they felt ready. They started despite uncertainty. They started despite fear. They started despite imperfection. Action creates clarity. Waiting rarely does. The Stoics believed that life is happening now. Not later. Not someday. Now. Every day you postpone meaningful action is a day you never recover. Every opportunity delayed carries a cost. You do not need perfect conditions. You need courage. You do not need certainty. You need movement. You do not need guarantees. You need commitment. The perfect moment is often disguised as the imperfect moment you are experiencing right now. Take back the power you gave to waiting. 14. Stop living for applause. There is a subtle trap hidden inside success. The trap is becoming addicted to recognition. At first, praise feels rewarding. People notice your work. People admire your accomplishments. People celebrate your achievements. Nothing is wrong with appreciation. The danger begins when applause becomes necessary. A musician released a song online. The first time thousands of people listened, he felt incredible. The attention was exciting. The praise felt meaningful. Soon he became obsessed with numbers. Every song was judged by views. Every project was judged by reactions. Every day was judged by external approval. His passion slowly disappeared. What once brought joy became a performance. He was no longer creating because he loved it. He was creating because he needed validation. The Stoics warned against becoming dependent on praise. Why? Because the crowd is unpredictable. Today they cheer. Tomorrow they criticize. Today they support. Tomorrow they ignore. If your confidence depends on applause, your confidence becomes unstable. The strongest foundation is internal. Do good work because it is good. Act with integrity because it is right. Pursue excellence because it reflects your character. Let recognition be a bonus, not a requirement. When you stop living for applause, you begin living for purpose. Take back the power you gave to the crowd. 15. Stop allowing temporary emotions to make permanent decisions. Emotion is part of being human. The Stoics never denied that. They understood sadness, anger, fear, frustration, disappointment. What they warned against was allowing temporary emotions to take control of permanent choices. A father had an argument with his son. In a moment of anger, he said things he did not truly mean. Words he could never take back. The argument lasted minutes. The consequences lasted years. Strong emotions create narrow vision. They make temporary situations feel permanent. They convince us to act before thinking, to speak before reflecting, to react before understanding. How many regrets begin this way? A decision made in anger. A relationship ended in frustration. An opportunity abandoned in fear. A dream surrendered in doubt. The Stoics practiced creating space between emotion and action. Not suppression. Not denial. Awareness. They understood that emotions are visitors. They arrive. They stay for a while. Then they leave. But decisions often remain. The next time emotion rises strongly within you, pause. Observe it. Understand it. Allow it to pass through without immediately obeying it. A calm mind sees clearly. A reactive mind sees only fragments. The strongest person is not the one who never feels emotion. The strongest person is the one who chooses wisely despite emotion. Take back the power you gave to impulse. Most people imagine power as domination over others. The Stoics imagined something entirely different. They saw power as mastery over oneself. A person who cannot control circumstances may still be powerful. A person who cannot control emotions, impulses, and reactions may still be weak. The difference lies within. And the deeper you look, the more you may realize that much of your suffering has not come from what happened to you. It has come from what you allowed to rule you. The good news is that every lesson brings another opportunity to reclaim what was lost. If these ideas resonate with you, subscribe to Wisdom Without Noise and continue strengthening the one thing that matters most, your inner world. Because when the mind becomes stronger, life becomes lighter. 4. Eliminate toxic comparisons. One of the fastest ways to destroy inner peace is to constantly compare your life to the lives of other people. This habit has existed for thousands of years, but modern life has turned it into a daily trap. Everywhere you look, someone appears to be doing better. Someone has more money. Someone has a better house. Someone has a better relationship. Someone seems more successful. Someone seems happier. Someone seems further ahead. The mind begins to whisper dangerous questions. Why am I not there yet? Why is their life moving faster than mine? What am I doing wrong? Little by little, gratitude disappears. Contentment fades. Confidence weakens. The Stoics warned against this long before social media existed. They understood that comparison steals attention from the only life you can actually improve. Your own. Imagine two runners competing on a long road. The first runner focuses on the path ahead. He watches his footing. He manages his breathing. He conserves his energy. The second runner spends the entire race looking sideways. He watches everyone else. He studies every competitor. He worries about who is ahead. He becomes distracted. Eventually he stumbles. Many people live exactly this way. They are so focused on everyone else's journey that they neglect their own. A young woman dreamed of building a successful business. She worked hard every day. At first she was making steady progress. Then she began comparing herself to other entrepreneurs online. Every success story made her feel inadequate. Every achievement she saw made her question herself. She started believing she was behind. What she could not see was the reality behind those polished images. She saw the victories but not the sacrifices. She saw the outcomes but not the years of struggle. She saw the highlight reel but not the hardships. Eventually she made a decision. She stopped measuring herself against strangers. Instead, she compared herself to who she had been 6 months earlier. Then 1 year earlier. Then 3 years earlier. Her confidence returned. Her focus improved. Her progress accelerated. Because she was finally competing against the only person who truly mattered. Her former self. Stoicism teaches us that every individual has a unique path. The seed of an oak tree does not compare itself to a rose. The river does not compare itself to the mountain. Nature functions perfectly because each thing fulfills its own purpose. Human beings suffer when they forget this lesson. Your timeline is not their timeline. Your circumstances are not their circumstances. Your challenges are not their challenges. Your purpose is not their purpose. Comparison creates unnecessary suffering because it demands that your life become a copy of someone else's. But your life was never meant to be a copy. It was meant to be your own. Think about how much energy is wasted comparing. Hours of jealousy. Days of self-doubt. Months of frustration. Years of feeling inadequate. Now imagine redirecting that energy toward growth. Learning. Discipline. Improvement. Service. That is where transformation happens. There will always be someone ahead of you. There will always be someone behind you. Neither fact should disturb your peace. The Stoics remind us that the goal is not to outperform everyone else. The goal is to become the best version of yourself. Every morning ask a different question. Instead of asking whether you are better than someone else, ask whether you are better than you were yesterday. That question creates growth. The other creates misery. The next time comparison tries to enter your mind, remember this. Someone else's success does not reduce your potential. Someone else's victory does not diminish your value. Someone else's progress does not cancel your future. Keep your eyes on your own path. The road becomes much clearer when you stop looking sideways. A farmer once planted 2 trees at the same time. One tree grew rapidly. The other seemed slow. Month after month, the difference was obvious. The faster tree towered above the slower one. Many people would have assumed the slower tree was failing. But beneath the soil, something extraordinary was happening. The slower tree was developing a deeper root system. Years later, a powerful storm struck the region. The taller tree collapsed. Its roots were shallow. The slower tree remained standing. Its foundation was strong. Many people are living in the root-building stage right now. The world sees little progress. The world sees little evidence. The world sees little success. But beneath the surface, strength is being developed. Wisdom is being built. Character is being formed. Patience is being cultivated. Do not abandon your journey because someone else's growth appears faster. Deep roots often grow in silence. 5. Eliminate the fear of being alone. One of the greatest fears many people carry is the fear of solitude. Silence makes them uncomfortable. Being alone feels unbearable. The moment they have free time, they reach for distractions. Television, social media, noise, messages, entertainment. Anything that prevents them from sitting quietly with themselves. But the Stoics viewed solitude differently. They saw it as an opportunity. A chance to strengthen the mind. A chance to reflect. A chance to understand oneself more deeply. A chance to reconnect with what truly matters. The truth is that many people are surrounded by others and still feel lonely. Why? Because loneliness is not always caused by a lack of company. Sometimes it is caused by a lack of connection with yourself. If you cannot enjoy your own company, no amount of external companionship will permanently solve the problem. A young professional lived a busy life. Every moment was filled with activity. Work meetings, phone calls, social gatherings, endless notifications. At first it felt exciting. But eventually he noticed something troubling. Whenever he found himself alone, he felt anxious. Silence felt uncomfortable. Stillness felt strange. He realized he had spent years running from himself. One weekend he decided to disconnect. No social media. No unnecessary entertainment. No constant stimulation. At first it was difficult. His mind felt restless. His thoughts felt loud. But gradually something changed. He began hearing himself clearly. He reflected on his goals. He evaluated his habits. He considered the direction of his life. For the first time in years, he experienced genuine clarity. That clarity had been waiting for him all along. It was simply buried beneath noise. The modern world often treats solitude as something negative. But many of history's wisest individuals embraced it. They understood that silence reveals truths that noise conceals. Marcus Aurelius spent time writing private reflections that later became one of the most influential philosophical works ever created. He was an emperor surrounded by responsibility, pressure, and people. Yet he still sought moments of solitude. Why? Because wisdom requires reflection. Without reflection, life becomes reactive. With reflection, life becomes intentional. There is an important difference between isolation and solitude. Isolation is feeling disconnected. Solitude is choosing time with yourself for growth. One weakens the spirit. The other strengthens it. When you become comfortable being alone, something powerful happens. You stop chasing people out of desperation. You stop accepting unhealthy relationships simply to avoid loneliness. You stop depending on constant attention for emotional stability. You become free. A person who fears being alone can be manipulated. A person who enjoys solitude becomes difficult to control. This does not mean rejecting relationships. Human connection is important. Friendship is valuable. Family matters. Community matters. But healthy relationships are strongest when they are built upon wholeness rather than dependency. The Stoics believed that peace comes from within. If peace depends entirely on external circumstances, it remains fragile. But if peace is developed internally, it becomes resilient. Imagine a lighthouse standing beside a turbulent sea. Waves crash against the rocks. Storms rage overhead. Winds howl through the darkness. Yet the lighthouse remains steady. Its stability comes from its foundation. Your inner life should function the same way. External conditions will change. People will come and go. Opportunities will appear and disappear. Success will rise and fall. But if your foundation is strong, your peace remains intact. Many people avoid solitude because they are afraid of what they might discover. They fear confronting regrets. They fear confronting weaknesses. They fear confronting uncomfortable truths. Yet those truths do not disappear simply because they are ignored. Growth begins when we are willing to face ourselves honestly. The mirror may reveal imperfections, but it also reveals opportunities for improvement. And improvement is impossible without awareness. Spend time alone occasionally. Walk without distractions. Sit quietly. Reflect deeply. Write your thoughts. Examine your life. Listen to your conscience. These simple practices can transform your perspective. The answers you seek are often hidden beneath layers of noise. Silence helps uncover them. Closing reflection. Look carefully at these 5 things. The need for validation. Constant complaining. The habit of explaining yourself to everyone. Toxic comparisons. The fear of being alone. Notice something interesting. None of these are physical possessions. None of them occupy space in your house. Yet they can occupy enormous space in your mind. And sometimes the greatest improvements in life do not come from adding more. They come from removing what no longer serves you. Many people believe success is about accumulation. More money, more attention, more status, more possessions, more recognition. But Stoicism teaches another path. A path of subtraction. A path of simplicity. A path of removing unnecessary burdens. Every burden you eliminate creates room for strength. Every distraction you remove creates room for focus. Every unhealthy attachment you release creates room for freedom. The strongest people are not always those who possess the most. Often they are those who need the least. They move quietly. They grow steadily. They remain grounded regardless of circumstances. They do not waste energy seeking approval. They do not spend their days complaining. They do not explain every decision. They do not compare their journey. They do not fear solitude. Instead, they cultivate something far more valuable. Inner peace. And inner peace is one of the few treasures that cannot be taken away by the world. As you leave today, ask yourself a simple question. Which one of these 5 burdens has been holding me back the most? Be honest. Identify it. Then begin removing it quietly. No announcement. No grand declaration. No need to convince anyone. Just action. Just consistency. Just growth. Because some of the most powerful transformations happen when nobody is watching. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found value in this lesson, subscribe to Wisdom Without Noise for more timeless Stoic wisdom, practical life lessons, and powerful insights that help you build strength, clarity, discipline, and peace in a noisy world. Until next time, protect your mind, master your emotions, and continue becoming the person you were meant to be.